In this video, I'll show you how to add life to a sitting figure. I'll show you how to use proportions, how to make the figure look balanced, and I'll discuss two Rembrandt drawings of sitting figures that seem to move despite their static position. And it's in my book, Ellen's Guide to Rhythm and Motion, on Amazon. Whenever you draw a figure with things around it, you want to compare the lengths of various parts of the man to the chair to keep them in proportion. Usually the thighs are horizontal or nearly so when an adult male sits on a standard chair. Since a chair seat is about 18 inches off the ground and since his lower leg is about 20 to 21 inches long, it means he can extend his legs slightly and still keep his thighs horizontal. The back of the chair varies a lot. This one, let's say, is about 20 inches long, so it's about the same size as his lower leg, and it hits his upper back. In this case, it looks like the seat is shorter than normal. How do we know that? Because his knees are higher than his buttocks and his thighs have a clear downward angle. For this to happen, the chair seat must be shorter than the man's lower leg. And we can see the seat is about 15 inches high. His lower leg is 21 inches high. So this seat is about 3 inches shorter than a normal seat. And as a result, he is hunched over. And it gives the picture a more informal and relaxed look. This man is too big for the chair. And how do we know that? Usually the knees are about level with the seat, and you can see that the knees are higher than the seat, so the thigh, which normally would be horizontal, has to angle down. And usually the thighs stay on the side within the seat, but you can see that these hang over the seat. So this is definitely a small seat relative to the man, and we don't know whether the man is big or the chair is small. We'll get to that in a minute. And in addition, he's on his elbows, which means that he must be leaning forward. So his body goes into a C shape, and as a result, you want the waist to be narrower than the chest. Now, what's interesting in this pose is that the thighs remain about the same width, and that's because in this direction, the thigh gets bigger in reality from the knee to the where it attaches to the hip, whereas it gets smaller in this direction with perspective and foreshortening. So just because this part is usually bigger, it's now about the same size as the knee because of foreshortening. Is this a big man or a small chair? Ambiguity can be good, but if you don't want ambiguity, then you would need another object like this wine bottle to compare to the chair and the man. So this wine bottle, let's say, is 10 inches tall. That means the chair seat is about 18 inches tall, which is the normal size for a chair. So this man is too big and he's sitting on a normal sized chair. Now, what if the bottle reaches above the seat, indicating that this seat is only maybe about 8 inches high, indicating that the seat is small and the man may be normal sized? Let's look at these two sitting figures. This one is done correctly and this one is not. So first, find the areas of support, which I've marked in red. So it includes the 2 feet, the 2 knees, and his buttocks. And then draw a line from the head down. And you can see that it lands between the feet and between the knees. So this guy is balanced. Now this guy, if you draw a gravity line down from his face, there's nothing to support his head. So he would tend to go forward unless he can push enough with his feet to keep him upright. And the other problem is that his right elbow is touching his left knee, so his body should be turned or twisted. The midline should be here, and then it would go over toward this direction. This figure must be leaning forward because her elbow is on her knee. And to make the body look like it's bent forward, draw the C shape here so that the waist is narrower and more compressed than the chest. The midline should also be bent a little. At this green line, we see the thighs coming directly toward us. It's totally foreshortened, so all we see is the knee. In the second figure, she's balanced mainly between her buttocks and her hand. And which one is providing the most support? Well, if you draw a gravity line from her head down, it reaches this green dot, which is closer to her buttocks, indicating that this is most of her support. Let's go over this drawing by Rembrandt. So he has his right leg bent over his left knee because we see the stretch marks going to his right knee. And that means his support is from his invisible left leg, which is presumably on the ground. And Rembrandt creates the illusion of furniture. Here, the back of the chair, and here probably an armrest. And we know that this elbow is on an armrest because otherwise it would lie lower on his gown. The left hand is hanging off the armrest, so its edges are soft because it's moving a little bit. The one lying on his thigh is stationary, so it has sharp edges. And this difference creates a sense of life in the sketch. In this Rembrandt drawing, I want to show you why Diana seems motionless. First of all, her body looks white and smooth because there are few cross contour lines, making her skin look relatively flat. In addition, the light is coming from behind our left shoulder, causing the front knee here to cast a shadow on the back knee. And this front lighting tends to flatten a form because we see little of her shaded side, maybe a little bit here. In addition, she's making eye contact with us, which also causes her to look stationary. When we make eye contact with someone, there's a shared moment where we don't seem to move. And then finally, her stationary body is contrasting with the chaotic scribbled lines of the background. So check out my book on Amazon, and please remember to subscribe.